How you doing, folks? Tim out of 22, OutstandingPoker.com. This is part two of my coaching series where we have a bunch of the Outstanding Poker coaches playing against each other. Hockey guy here, Jimmy Chance, John as Marty Funkhouse, and then we have, excuse me, OP member Eric, or Legion 62, and then we have our contest winner, Alter Neo, or Anshul. That won the free buy-in. So this is part two. Part one was released a couple weeks ago, so I'd suggest, as usual, watching that one first. So I'm just going to dive right into the action here and hopefully come into some interesting spots. So the last one ended on a big overbet by Ultra Neo on Marty Funkhouse when I guess Marty, or I'll call him Jimmy or John, when he had, I think he said he had Ace Jack on that board. So it's interesting that Ultra Neo is going for the big overbet. I'm not sure. I assume it was for value, but I'm not sure. So a read on him is that he's been pretty aggressive, and I decided here to three bet his button open because, like I said, through the first, I don't know how long the footage was, probably like 20-30 minutes. Ultra Neo is super aggressive, bordering on like maniac level. So I thought after he, and this comes like from a psychology play, I thought after he made that move on Marty Funkhouse that he'd kind of tone it back a bit. So if I did get four bet here, it'd probably be from a legitimate hand, and if he had a weaker hand, he'd likely just fold because he'd realize he'd be getting a little too out of line with a weak hand. So that's why I decided to three bet him here, and I think a hand like 7-6 suited is a perfect hand to do that with. I don't think it's strong enough to call with in the small blind there, given that then you have to worry about being out of position with the big blind overcalling. So I think it's a good hand to add to your three bet range that you're polarizing with some weaker hands like 7-6 suited, as well as your premium hands like your big pocket pairs and your ace king, ace queen type hands. So I think this is a good spot for it, especially given the recent metagame and game dynamic with Ultra Neo. So he calls. Like I said, now once he calls here, I I think I have free reign to bet here and barrel the turn, because I think he would be thinking if he had a strong hand here, he'd probably four bet it because he knows he's not going to get a lot of credit with a four bet and be able to get it in against me pretty lightly. So I would imagine he's likely in this spot just calling and hoping to hit a strong flop, and this with whatever marginal holding he has. And I mean, yeah, he could have Queen Jack or whatever and hit this and not fold, but chances are he missed this dry board, and I'm going to take it down with a continuation bet quite often and be able to put a lot of pressure, especially on the turn, especially if the turn comes a spade where I hit my a backdoor flush draw, or it comes like a five where I hit a backdoor straight draw. So there's a lot of good turn cards that I can barrel pretty profitably. And that's what you want to be thinking about when you think about barrel opportunities, is what type of turn cards are improve your equity in your range and hurt his range. So I think this is a good spot. So I assume I c bet here, and we played this session at least over a month ago, so I don't remember any of the individual hands and what people did. You'll notice I bet just over half pot. I think that's a good sizing on this type of board. There's no real reason to risk any more than betting just a little over half pot. And you would do that with both your bluffs and your value hands, just so that you're being balanced and you're not giving away anything with your bet sizing. So Ultra Neo calls, and we get a queen on the turn. It's not a great card for us actually at all, because if we barrel that, we're repping, a very strong hand that can stand up to the queens, and he can very likely have a queen. Now, I don't know how wide he floats himself, so this is just a textbook example of the value of position. He can float here with a wide range. Like, I mean, say he has a hand like 5-6.